Hello and welcome back to the Bunch of Chant podcast with myself, Sam Hill, and as always, I'm joined by
Harry
and
Ben Thomas.
And we're here today to do a little review, little talk about the Cardiff Vale Sports Arena event on Saturday night. Sanigar Events show, brilliant event, some really great fights, some really great fighters, and we got some really great content from there as well, which is all available on our YouTube channel. So if you haven't already, check it out on there. We have to get this out of the way now because undoubtedly we'll say it multiple times. How cold was it in that arena?
Oh, I'm still cold. From it. How the fighters fought in that. Fair play to them.
Yeah, it was chilly.
Yeah.
It was freezing.
Did you see Moses?
Yeah, with the
duvet, towels all over him.
Smart. He was smart. And then I think James had a dry robe as well, which was good. So yeah, difficult conditions in that way, but I didn't think it affected the fight particularly. Opening of the card, Jimmy Gilheaney fought Eliezer Quesada. Jimmy's now 2-0, got the win on that one. Really impressive performance for your second fight.
Very good.
Very, very good.
Good talker as well on the interview for you.
Yeah, and I think what I really was really impressed with is how fluid he was with his stance, switching over from orthodox to southpaw, which let him cut off the ring really, really well.
Yeah, his opponent just couldn't get away from him, could he?
No, I was... I thought at times he might maybe get the stoppage because he was that dominant.
Yeah.
Fair play to him. The Nicaraguans tend to be tough fighters. They're difficult to put out of there.
They got a record of 24-20 as well.
Yeah, which for your second fight is some fight to take. So fair play to him for that.
It's another 4 rounds banked as well. So
yeah, exactly. And on to bigger and better things. And he was there with Brandon Scott was there supporting him obviously. Down there from with Gavin Rees trains the both of them.
Yeah.
Another Welsh world title holder.
Ben's did a cracking interview with Brandon.
Really great interview. Well. Lovely guy, Brandon. So if you haven't checked that already, you must check that. If you're gonna go off this video and click on anything, click on that Brandon Scott interview. Is 12 minutes of.
He's so good.
Just his nickname.
The baddest nerd on the planet.
There we go. Yeah. You got it right this time.
I'm putting it down to how cold he was in it.
That's probably fair.
Right, that's 2 times we talked about the coldness of it.
Yeah, but it was some fight to open the night. That to be fair, and I think it was maybe one that I wasn't necessarily expecting huge amounts from. Up from that one, Mark Davies fought Steve Davies. Steve Davies, massive shout out to Steve.
Yeah,
not only because he's a lovely guy. Me and Harry had a quick chat to him, and he's been messaging us on Instagram. But because he's done so much, he's 12-0. He's got a fight next week, and without people like Steve, boxing and big fighters just wouldn't be able to do what they do because they'll have never got there. So shout out to Steve, but shout out to Mark as well. Really impressive performance from him, dominant performance. I don't think we ever expect him to go in there and necessarily get the knockout because Steve's
so tough.
Yeah,
tough guy.
So tough. He's good for fighters to have a learning experience off because I think
he just keeps walking towards it, and he just.
And but is he awkward? He comes in a bit differently all the time as well. But yeah, as you said, without people like Steve, these fighters like Mark, like Jimmy, they won't have a career if they didn't have learning fights against people like Steve. So yeah, huge shout out to him. And also, you did the interview with Mark afterwards. He was willing to step up and fight Ethan George for the Welsh super middleweight title.
Yeah,
that's how confident
he was.
So
he offered to do that fight, but he'd never had a 6-round fight. So
the board didn't like.
So he didn't. Well, yeah. So I don't know if it was the board or his team, but he said he's gonna have a 6-round fight next, and then he wants the Welsh title straight after that.
Fair play.
So that's the winner then of Ryan Pocock and Ethan George on your face.
Yeah, so that would be a difficult test. I think that'd be a 10-rounder for him. To go straight from. He said they like to have you to have an 8 first, but he's saying I want a 6, and then I'm going for it.
Why not? What's he got to lose?
And he was another one. It was a good night for all the home fighters, but another good performance from him. He looked very good.
Yeah,
I think it's the same with a lot of these fighters on this card. The most important thing this year now for them is to be active as possible. Whenever the next Sanigar event is in Wales, they need to be on it just to keep active. And yeah, I can potentially see Mark getting that Welsh title by the end of the year.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, or certainly getting that shot. Obviously, I'm not going to go out and say he's going to batter him, he's going to win it, whatever. We don't necessarily know who it's going to be against yet, but he's definitely going to get that opportunity.
He said to you though, he doesn't like doing interviews. That was his second interview he's ever done. He has to get used to doing interviews because he's some fighter.
It was a good interview as well.
Yeah.
I thought he was harsh on himself. I thought it was a great interview. I was proud of myself.
Well done, Sam.
Thank you.
He did the hard work that night. Definitely Mark didn't do the easy work.
And then James Atkins off on the next one up against Stefan Vincent. Difficult opponent, Stefan. He's had 2-11, I think he's 2-12 now. James is now 6-0. It was an impressive performance from James in the sense of, he got the job done. He won every round. It was a comfortable performance.
Frustrating night for James, I think, is the term to use, because Stefan just kept not running away. Did he keep running away? Yeah.
He was just hard to pin down, wasn't he? I think.
But it's good experience for James.
James said afterwards it was frustrating night, but he done what needed to be done, and he got the win. That's the most important thing.
He's another one now. That's 3 6-rounders he's had now. The next step up for James is that Welsh title fight, maybe. So
yeah, he's up and around there, and he's had some good fighters. He's fought Casey Bradnam, who we obviously saw on the Brangman Hall show, and looked a decent fighter, and Naeem Ali as well. We won't go into too much detail on that fight. But he looks good. He does look really good, and one that can definitely step up and fight at a high level and continue to move on. The next fight, however, was the one that I was most impressed by. Joe Morgan versus Georgi Velikov. George looked unbelievable. A year out of the ring, 2nd round finish. Looked a serious fighter, Joe.
Very good. He got the stoppage as well, obviously, after 2 rounds. He's being trained by Lee Selby, obviously former world champion.
Yeah, so Lee and his dad Andrew Morgan both train him, but Lee's obviously his main trainer now, I believe.
Obviously Chris jumped in with the interview as well, said he's looking to try and push him to be a world champion one day, so
he's the next Lee Selby.
They clearly have a lot of faith behind him, and he looks like he could go very far.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those ones that I can see getting that fight. He's 7-0 now, he's still only 21. He was 6-0 by the time he was 20, obviously, because he's had a year out of the ring. Fought on a Cordina undercard, so he's had a big event. It's just only a matter of time. I think he's going to have a couple fights this year, just to get himself back fighting and active and fit. And then, some big fights coming up for Joe. I think he's definitely the one off the fight, particularly because of his age, but also because of the nature of his performance. Seriously, have to look out for, particularly with Lee behind him. That's someone who's done it, knows what they're doing, and is going to build him up as a Welsh, then a British, then the Commonwealth, then the European, then the Commonwealth champion, and then
same way as Lee did.
Get on to win that world title, and I can fully see him doing it. To be honest with you, I wouldn't be even a bit surprised if that's how his career went. And then Haaris Khan, another fighter, with Lee Selby, another very, very impressive performance from Haaris. He's obviously 2-0 now.
Against another unbeaten fighter as well.
Yeah. Big risk for him early on in his career, but I think Lee Selby said in my interview that I did with him, it's the sort of fighters that he wants to face, because Lee has him in his standards quite highly. So what a performance by him. And I said to him, do you expect to have titles at the end of the year? And Chris said when it's time, he'll get a shot. So
he's definitely going to go far, I think, Haaris. He's a former, I think he's won 10 amateur Welsh titles, Commonwealth fighter as well. So he's definitely, along with Joe, the two of them under Lee Selby, are definitely fighters to watch out for in terms of Welsh boxing.
And obviously he fought at light heavyweight on the night, Haaris.
Yeah, he
stepped up, didn't he?
Yeah, Lee Selby said that he expects him to fight the super middle, but his opponent was heavier, so they had to go up, and it was something to do with the day of the weigh-in.
Yeah, so because he weighed in on the day, you haven't got as much time to rehydrate, so they didn't want to push him out at super middle and him, have to cut a lot of weight. Realistically, he's going to be weighing in as a light heavyweight after he rehydrates if he was to weigh in a day before, but that wasn't possible, so they came in at light heavy, and it didn't matter. He looked,
he was very good,
very, very good. And then Joshua John, another one, probably had the most difficult opponent, or had the most difficult fight of the night. I think he was, Marvin Solano made it difficult for him.
Didn't help with the weight difference between the two of them as well.
Yeah,
7 pounds.
Yeah, it's a big difference, and so his opponent weighed in heavy, and Josh was good to make weight, but and I think he did make weight pretty much, but
comfortably.
But he did make weight, but he wants to be fighting at bantamweight, and
we had a chat to him, we had audio issues with the interview, so it hasn't gone out, but I think his plan is to go down to 8 stone 6 a bantamweight. He hasn't had that chance yet. So I think the next fight for him would be get maybe an 8 to 10 rounder at bantamweight, and then you've got Ashley Lane and Chris Boak who are fighting for the vacant British bantamweight title in 2 weeks' time, I think, at York Hall. So I think he gets the winner of that then for bantamweight title.
Yeah, that would be.
As he said to us beforehand as well, he said if he loses tonight, he doesn't know where his career goes. He's back in the limelight now, ain't he?
Yeah, he's
was up there now with all.
He was pretty honest about that in terms of, you don't often see fighters. Well, he didn't. I don't think he said it on an interview, but you don't often see fighters be that honest and say, if I lose this is difficult for me now.
The pressure was on, wasn't it? Because everyone expected him to win, and obviously he did win. But yeah, the pressure was on him. So,
yeah, and good fighters do it when they need to, and that's what he did. He dug in deep, and he won that fight, and he won that fight pretty comfortably on the scorecards as well. The next fight, Kyran Jones versus Mike Biles. This was one you boys missed. You were grabbing interviews at the time. I think you were chatting to Brandon when this one was going on.
We were doing our job, weren't we? But, we weren't there for the jolly.
Okay, but who would have interviewed him if we hadn't watched that fight?
We would have got him later.
Okay.
We would have got him later.
But yeah, a great fight. I think possibly one of the fights of the night in terms of it was just fireworks. Kyran hit him with a couple brilliant shots in the second, and he said he was surprised the ref didn't stop it, and to be fair, I'll have to probably agree on that. I was surprised the ref didn't stop it in the second. But yeah, really impressive performance. There was a point deducted for arm holding from his opponent.
Persistent holding.
Yeah, persistent holding of the arm, yeah. And then there was also Kyran caught his opponent with a a heavy body shot, just after they were asked to break, and he got a little. I thought maybe there might be a bit more with that, but it was the only thing he's done, and his opponent came over to the corner by me, and he asked for a bucket while he was recovering, and just spat out a load of blood into the bucket. So that shot hurt him.
And that was his first fight since 2017 as well for Mike.
Yeah, so he's been out for a while. He looked all right, to be fair. He's a solid bugger. I don't know how he stayed up for those.
Not many people would stay up, would they?
No, but Kyran had the Cardiff faithful behind him. Cardiff City faithful come straight from the Bristol City game. Cardiff won in the afternoon, and then he gone and done it in the evening.
Did they? I didn't know.
Yeah,
definitely bending. Keep
absolutely
reminding us.
And I think his opponent was from
Coventry.
I mean, it's not
Coventry.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Trunks, didn't he?
And obviously Cardiff City beat Bristol. There's another championship club. There's some link in there. I think ignore me. I was going somewhere with it, and then
I was going to say
though,
matter. Looking at some of the fighters we've chatted about, and obviously the main event that was meant to happen that didn't happen. Do you think super middleweight is the most exciting sort of weight class in Welsh boxing?
Probably, yeah.
Or the one to watch out for, because there's so many potential.
Well, yeah,
just two Welsh fighters.
I just think Welsh boxing in general is exciting at the moment.
And obviously, like, super middleweight and Welsh boxing's got a history in itself with Joe Calzaghe.
So true. What about heavyweight? Moving on to our next fighter. That's a division that we're going to be talking a lot about in the future, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a division we haven't been able to talk about much in Welsh boxing because of there's not since 1989. I think was the last time that belt was fought for the
some
Welsh
guy from
heavyweight
Fleet, wasn't it?
I'm not sure, to be honest. But yeah, we had a chat to Moses.
I'm not that old, surprisingly.
To Moses Jolly, and he was a brilliant interviewer, a brilliant guy, great character, and one that you can really tell is ready for the big time in terms of the whole package, because he's just so exciting. Yeah. Came out in the Indian headdress. Came out to it was the good, bad, and the ugly. What a walkout song! Dramatic,
unbelievable song.
And it was just a great, just him just being there as a character. You could fill any room. It's he's a nice one to watch for sure. Just because
we need that Welsh heavyweight.
We do, and
we need that we need that fight so badly now.
I think it was Miles Gordon Darby that he was saying he wants to.
Or Dorian Darks.
But it looks like he might have some issues with getting there was an issue with that fight that fell through, wasn't it?
He did BK, whatever, bare knuckle fighting, didn't he?
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to get a license.
I think there's another guy, Stefan Hughes, as well. He's active as well, a Welsh heavyweight boxer as well, but he's fighting over in Colombia. But yeah, fingers crossed it happens. But as I said to Moses when I interviewed him, if it doesn't happen, Obviously, Lauren Price is fighting April 20th. He's the sort of character that would make that card even better, so...
Yeah, he's the kind of person that could almost steal a show in terms of the build-up to it.
Listen, Ponov hasn't been stopped since Dave Allen back in 2022. So, I'm not being funny. Could Moses Jolly face Dave Allen next?
Well, you don't want to push him too soon, do you? But I think the most important thing...
Ben, he's probably one of the biggest prospects in Welsh boxing at the moment. He's more likely to go on and win a title.
Yeah, he's 8-0. He's ranked 23 in the British heavyweight rankings. And
6 KOs now.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't even said it officially. He got first round knockout in that fight. You don't do that by mistake. That takes some doing. He said, it's an easy night work in the sense he made it look easy, but it's never an easy night work, when you get in the ring with anyone, realistically.
Bet he was probably disappointed, though, all the hard work in camp. And
do you think that's what they want, isn't it?
Yeah. You don't get paid for overtime, maybe.
Yeah. I think the most important thing for these fighters, like on this card and like the card we seen at Swansea last month, is having the big fight nights in Cardiff for them to proper put their name out there and build a career.
I think as well they've got to look long term, haven't they? And yes, you could say he might be disappointed with that, but it's another camp, some more lessons learned. And another fight won on the record that lets him go on. So he'll be looking at it long term and saying, yeah, it was a good night's work. And another one that was a good night's work, Conor McIntosh on the main card, fighting another difficult Nicaraguan fighter. And another one that got a comfortable win out there. Conor McIntosh has now put himself ranked 10 in the British... it's super featherweight, isn't it? Was it featherweight? No, it's featherweight. He is ranked 10 in the featherweight. Which is impressive stuff. It's a high record, and he looked really, really impressive. Southpaw stance, throws some really good shots, worked his opponent really well, and I think angered his opponent quite a lot with how much better than him he was. It is super feather. Sorry, we were right.
The next step for him obviously is that probably a British title shot now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think English title is held by Michael Gomez Jr. He's 20-1, so it'd be a difficult fight that for him. But he's only ranked 8th in the British fight, so just ranked above Conor. Maybe that's a fight that'll happen.
Is the British title vacant?
No, it's Reith Bellotti, isn't it?
Oh yeah, of course.
Obviously beat Liam Dillon.
Do you know the fight I want to see Conor in?
Who's that?
Nathan Howes, the rematch.
Yeah, it could be.
I'd love to see that.
I believe he. Oh well, yeah. No, Nathan Howes obviously ranked a fair bit below him, and Conor beat him. So I think from Conor's point of view, maybe that's a fight that doesn't make sense. But so I mean, I think
you asked him the question.
I asked him the question, and Nathan said he would have that fight, and Conor said he wouldn't say no to that fight. So maybe it's one we see, and
that would be big for Welsh boxing.
It would be a good
fight,
another great fight. Yeah. But obviously, and as well, Conor McIntosh, unfortunately, his only loss on his record was to Rashid Omar, who's now signed with
Nielsen.
But those two, Rashid's already got 2 fights booked coming up, so maybe it might be a little while before we see him. But yeah, that could be maybe another fight if he was willing to jump back up in weight to lightweight. Maybe that's another fight he could make.
I think aiming towards British title fight is the logical step for him now.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
That's what he needs to push towards.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, he's a really, really talented fighter. Conor looks really, really good. So definitely one to look out for. What we'll do is we'll all pick out one fighter that we'll say, who are you going to say people out there need to have a look out for? Harry, we'll start with you. Which is one name?
I can't do one. I can do 2.
No, you can do one.
Mark Davis and Moses Jolly.
Okay, he still gives you 2.
We'll give you one.
Moses Jolly, because I think he can do some big things in boxing.
Yeah,
and he can put Welsh boxing on the map.
I think talent-wise, you could certainly say both of them. I mean, talent-wise, you could say a hell of a lot of fighters on
all
this
of them
card.
can. All of them can. But you've told me I can only name one.
But the thing that Moses has got is he's got the character. He's such a good interview. He's so much fun.
He started play fighting with me backstage, man. Like pretending to hit me, but they were bloody hurting me.
He's got some power behind him.
Yeah.
Big guy. I think even stood next to me in a photo, he looked huge. And I'm fairly tall, and he's made
in the
me look
photo
tiny.
of me and him.
He makes you look
like
tiny.
A kid.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll stick to getting photos with. Never get a photo with Enzo Macronelli. Never. Don't bother with that one.
Why? What happened?
He's huge.
You just won't be able to fit us both in the photo.
True. Yeah.
Maybe stick to.
Moses is taller than Enzo, surely.
They're probably about the same height. I'd have thought. No. Enzo's 6'4", 6'5". Moses has got to be a similar height.
Great to see him though, supporting small fighters now like Conor and building them up. to get a big career.
Enzo,
same with Lee Selby as well.
Yeah, Lee Selby and Enzo. We had 3 out of the 4 currently alive Welsh. 3 out of the 5 currently alive Welsh world title holders. In the room,
We've got 2
Gavin
more.
Rees, Lee Selby, and Enzo Macronelli.
Yeah.
So
They've been there and done it, haven't they? There's no one better you can learn from.
Cordina's still fighting, so you can't exactly expect him to have turned up on that night. And Calzaghe's got an event coming up in the Vale Sports Arena, so it's brilliant to see those Welsh greats. And I've said it, I sort of said it before, but Joe Morgan for me is the one that I'm going to say, if people are going to watch out for anyone, his talent, he looks special talent.
My one would be Joshua John.
Yeah.
He's obviously already fought for a European title. Didn't get the result he wanted on that night, but I'd be shocked if we don't see him at least at British title level by the end of the year. I think that British title fight is what's next for him, a bantamweight. If he can win that, you're back onto European then. And another big fight night in Wales, hopefully, and get obviously these talented fighters. They just need that platform to put their name out there and really grow the sport in Wales.
Hopefully a lot of them get on that boxer card.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see. And I think that pretty much wraps it up for what was a brilliant event. Thank you to Chris and Jamie Sanigar for having us, and Rhiannon for sorting it all out for us. And fingers crossed, we'll be able to get down to more of these shows and talk to more of these great fighters that are doing a great thing in not only just British boxing, but obviously, well, not just Welsh boxing, but British boxing as a whole. If you haven't already, like I said, just check out any of the interviews on the YouTube, because they are all great interviews, and some of these fighters are great guys that they need to get their stuff out there. There was us, and I think Eat, Sleep, Boxing, Repeat were there as well, so it's good to see some people covering it. But these guys need the coverage. They deserve the coverage because they're talented boxers and they're great guys. So check out all of that. And other than that, we'll see you all in another video next week.